Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you've all spent a great time with your families. Personally, as you know, I did decide to take a small break. I think I was gone for just over a week. But now, of course, I'm back. I'm very excited for this year to come. So let's dive into the charts. And what I want to do, as usual, is talk about Bitcoin, but I do also want to talk about Ethereum because we have some pretty obvious trades there in my view. So let's get into it. If we start off with Bitcoin, what happened since my last update is pretty much nothing. Price has just went sideways. And what happened here is that before taking my break, I did say that this was a pretty weak low. What happened? Price came down, took out this double bottom. We had two imbalances at the lows, which got recovered before getting this very nice move up. And what happened on this move? We had two imbalances. Price came down to recover all of these imbalances to the dollar. As you can see, we also had an imbalance at the lows, as you can see with this purple candle, before getting again this very nice bounce to the upside, which is a very healthy sign. So that's why on the lower time frames at least, I am bullish on Bitcoin and want to see this imbalance that I talked about in the previous update reached at $100,600. So with that said, the levels above us haven't changed. So what I want to do, of course, is talk about the levels below us. As I'm bullish, I'm only interested in long positions at this point. So let's go on the 4-hour chart, and what we have here is very simple. We have these two imbalances. As you can see, this 4-hour imbalance wasn't completely filled. So if price does come back down, this could offer a very nice long position, again with a target of $100,600. And then we have this second imbalance at $94,400. I don't really expect this one to get reached, but just keep it in mind just in case we lose this level. But personally, I'm mainly interested in one support level, which will be again this imbalance, $95,700. If we get a drop, I see a nice reaction. Again, I will be interested in long positions. Now, if I go on the 1-hour chart, we do have these two imbalances, but they're not very interesting in my view, which is why, one more time, I have one major level, 95.7, and then a second level that I don't really expect to get reached at $94,400. And that was mainly it for the lower time frames on Bitcoin. Very simple. We have two support levels, and I'm only interested in long positions. But before moving on to Ethereum, we do have a couple of very important things to note on Bitcoin. First of all, what I want to say is that I do expect a new all-time high. I do believe that $110,000 will get reached very easily. However, before seeing a new all-time high, I would like to see a further drop to the downside and price take out this low at $90,300. As you know, in previous updates, I have been expecting price to come down and fill this wick, so again take out this low. But now, with the start of the new year, we have another very important confluence, which is the quarterly pivot that comes in at $88,500. On top of that, I do have a pretty interesting support level, which is a partially filled imbalance at $87,700. With that said, as I've been expecting this low to be taken out, and now we have a quarterly pivot at $88,500, but also we have a yearly pivot at $83,400, even though again, I am bullish on the lower time frames and I do expect a new all-time high at some point. I would remain cautious on the medium time frame because, for example, we could get a drop, a bounce, and then a reversal to the downside, take out this low, and hit first the quarterly pivot again. If I just add it on my chart, $88,500. So that's mainly what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. One more time, I'm bullish on the lower time frames, but would remain cautious on the higher time frames. So with all of that said, let's now move on to Ethereum, which is where, as I said, we do have some pretty obvious trades. What we have here is exactly what you have on Bitcoin. We have a drop, a consolidation sideways, and then a reversal to the upside. However, on this break higher, as you can see, we have an imbalance on the 4-hour chart. So what I would do as usual is mark this imbalance, 3,465, and if we do reach it, this would offer a very nice long position if we do see a reaction, of course. But then, if I go on the 1-hour chart, as you can see, we have three imbalances in a row. And as I always say, when you have multiple imbalances in a row, you do expect the last one to get filled with very high probability. So I do expect Ethereum to come back down pretty easily and fill at least this imbalance at $3,527, which could offer a very nice long position. As I'm bullish on Bitcoin, of course, I'm also bullish on Ethereum. So with that said, I'm only interested in these two levels, 3,527, 3,465. In my view, I do believe that this level will be a bit more important, but if we do lose it again, just be aware, 3,465 will be a big level if revisited. So then, if we look at the levels that we have above us, I have one major target for this bounce higher, which would be this imbalance, which was partially filled with this bounce. Let's mark it out, 3,770. So personally, what I'm interested in here on Bitcoin is, for example, a bit more sideways price action, a drop lower to the hourly imbalance, and then a bounce to the upside for my first target, 3,770. And then, if I see a reaction, very probably I will close out my long position and might even open a short position, because what do we have here? We have the exact same thing that we had on Bitcoin. We have an untapped quarterly pivot, 3,273, which I do also expect to get tapped. And if we get a move higher from here and leave this imbalance behind, so for example, if you get something like this, then this should be a bit more bearish. And at this point, if we see a reaction, then this would offer a very nice position for a reversal to the downside, a fill of this 4-hour imbalance, and potentially a tap of the quarterly pivot, which sits much below us. So with that said, that was mainly it for this update. As usual, I keep the charts very simple. So quick recap, I am bullish on the lower time frames. I would like to see a drop on Ethereum to at least the last hourly imbalance, 3,527, which could offer a nice long position. And my target would be 3,770. If you break above it, just be aware of the second imbalance. But first of all, I want to see what happens on this level. If we see a rejection, I will probably close out my long position and maybe even open a short position, as we do have a pretty important quarterly pivot much below price that I do expect to get tapped. Same thing on Bitcoin. Let's go back to the chart. If we do get a drop first, I will be interested in a long position, and my target will be $100 and $600. If we break above it, this would be a pretty bullish sign. But first, again, I want to see what happens at this level. And if I zoom out, we do have a very important quarterly pivot at $88,500 that I do expect to get tapped. So just remain cautious. So with all of that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this update. And as usual, if you have any questions, I'm available inside the Discord. So see you soon everyone, and good luck.